Yay Networks.
Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy! Happy Wednesday and happy post-Christmas and happy next up is New Year's Day, great girlfriends. Oh, happy day. I hope your holiday was incredibly amazing as mine was, and I hope that you felt all of the love and the joy that this world has to offer through the connections that you feel with your family and friends. Listen, I'm so full from the experiences that I'm having this holiday season, and most importantly, from getting your DMs and getting your emails about the different, recommendations you have for new episodes and just your connection with the podcast. Your feedback has been wonderful. I'm so glad that you love the episode on distractions. I'm so glad that you're loving the episodes from the Doers and Disruptors Conference from 2021. And I'm so glad that you're registering for the Ready, Set, Go challenge. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Because, here's the deal. The top of the year for most people is like the most thrilling time of year because you're like, yes, new year, new opportunity. And that might be true, but you might also be walking into the momentum of a pre-existing opportunity. And some of us don't need to, rip the rug, tear up the rug and rip the rug and start fresh at the top of the year. Some of us just need to continue to press forward, knowing that we're in the right direction at the right time, doing the right thing. Whatever that is for you, the Ready, Set, Go challenge is here to help you sustain, disrupt, or transform as needed. Right? As needed. It's according to what you need for your formula, for your strategy. You get to customize what your year looks like, and I get to support you and hold you accountable to who you say you desire to be at your highest potential. And so that's really what I'm here for, and that's what the challenge is for. So I'm encouraging you, head over to thegreatgirlfriends.com, register for the Ready, Set, Go challenge today, like right now. Do get the ebook. Do sign up for the VIP. It's super important. Both are important. You deserve to have both experiences. The book is going to be your eternal, pocket guide that you're going to reference when you need to have strategies throughout the year. And the VIP is that intimate space where we really get down to the nitty gritty of what we need to shape, for the year and so forth. And also the connections that are made are like lifelong connections. And I know you think I'm making that up, but you really got to be a part of it to see. And some of you were saying, why is it so inexpensive? Well, here's the deal. I wanted to make this accessible for every great girlfriend to be a part of the experience. This is a space and time where we all gather together as one. Not everyone will be able to come to the in-person events. Not everyone will be able to be a part of some of the premium experiences. But this, I think every single one of us could be a part of this, right? And so that's why the price is as low as it is. And that's why I'm asking and begging for you to be a part of it, because you deserve to have this big super gumbo connection space that is, I know it's going to seem crazy that it can be big and intimate at the same time, but I know what I'm doing. And I'm masterful at curating safe, intimate spaces. So you got to trust me. And since you trust me on this podcast, I need you to trust me with your ear and with your presence January 22nd through 24th for the Ready, Set, Go challenge. Now for this uber important episode of the podcast. Going back again to 2021 to our Doers and Disruptors experience, this conversation was the kickoff to what was, it felt like the most enchanting day of just everything between all of the guests at the conference. This conversation is between Lisa Price and Mikki Taylor. We are our sister's keeper. Some of us have asked, am I my sister's keeper when she's acting crazy and when she's out there doing stuff that I don't agree with? Like, am I her keeper or not? Well, I'm not going to tell you what Mikki and Lisa have to say about that. You're going to have to listen. But I am going to tell you that, I feel like I'm a mirror to my friends and that they're a mirror to me and some of their growth and some of their challenges. And I'm here to help charge them up. I'm here to help love and support them. And they do the same for me. And as women, and as a community builder, I do feel accountable to your success. I feel accountable to knowing that, in knowing that what I offer you here can be food for your growth, food for your development, food for your nurture, for your support. And so I am your keeper. And I hope that you're my keeper. I hope that if you see me falling, you send me a text or DM or email and you go, hey, Sib, I see you dropping the ball on X, Y, and Z. What's up with that? Right? Or what support do you need? Or I just want to let you know I'm here to support you. But, I want us to feel like we are, essential to one another's success and growth, because I do believe that we hold the keys that unlock the success or the bridge for another woman. And it's important for us to continue to unlock these doors and open, and hand over the keys and give access and support and growth and connection, right? So that's my 2 cents on this conversation, but I cannot wait for you to hear what Lisa Price, the founder of Carol's Daughter, and Mikki Taylor, who is, one of the most game-changing beauty and editorial writers and columnists of our time, Mikki Taylor has to say, what they have to say about being our sister's keeper and being accountable to the identity of our sisterhood and what that means in the world. So do grab your pen and paper. Don't forget to share this episode with another great girlfriend and shoot me a DM after, because I want to know what you think about it. And I cannot wait to see your face in the Ready, Set, Go Challenge, January 22nd through 24th. Love you, great girlfriends. Enjoy. All right. So we're about to have a conversation about sisterhood. How important is sisterhood to you? Yeah, it's soul food. It is the meat on the bone. And I feel so blessed to be able to have 2 women who have poured sisterhood and heritage and love and courage and bravery into us for now decades through their products and through their representation in beauty. I am so excited because we have the founder of Carol's Daughter, Miss Lisa Price, coming to the stage. Give it up, give it up. Come on up, Miss Lisa, DJ Lisa. And then we're bringing back editor-at-large of Essence Magazine, Miss Mikki Taylor. Hey, Mikki. Yes. All right, can we get that mic for Lisa? It's coming right up. All right, let's take our seats. This conversation is essential. We asked the question, the question has been asked, am I my brother's keeper? And I take it to us and I say, are we our sister's keeper? And quite often, Lisa and Mikki, in this day and age, now that I guess people call me auntie because I'm not 25 anymore, I'm 26. So, and that's that on that, all right? Nobody debate that. But we ask that question often. Am I my sister's keeper? I feel like I know your answers, but I want to just grab from you. Are you your sister's keeper, Lisa?
Yes, and I'm also my sister.
Amen.
Okay, panel
Amen.
over. All right.
Yes.
Mikki, are we our sister's keeper?
Yes, you are your sister's keeper, and you're not only her keeper, you're her celebrant. You're her celebrant. She needs you to lift her up. Yeah, every day, in every way that you are equipped to serve and empower her. And what I love is the sisters in my circle have begun to ask me, how can I serve you? Yeah, that's oh, just lost my mic. Well, it's on. That's sister keeping business.
How can I serve you? I hope y'all are writing that down and planting that in your heart, maybe a tattoo as well. I feel like you all have answered that call and taken that charge to the next level through your contribution to us as women, your daily devotion in the products, goods, and services and representation of our voice, taking on corporate giants, and standing up for what you know we deserve to have and see in terms of products and representation, making sure that the beauty industry affirms us properly with the language and narrative that helps to protect and fuel us as women of color specifically. Was that a heritage that you adopted, or is that something that you took the charge on? Where did you get the courage to take that calling from?
Well, for me, it was part of doing the work. You don't necessarily realize in the moment that you're advocating for everyone. You kind of discover that as you go, especially when you step into a territory that's unfamiliar and scary and different, and they speak a different language. And then for me anyway, having started my brand nearly 30 years ago, there weren't environments like this to get together and to talk. There was no social media. So a lot of times you felt as if you were alone. And there were many times when I would walk into business meetings and beauty events, and I'd be the only person of color in the room except for someone who was working the event. And so you feel this tremendous responsibility to speak loudly, to speak often, to keep the door open, to let others get in behind you. And then you feel a tremendous responsibility to keep that conversation going because you recognize how few of us there are in a room. This room is great, but there are still rooms, all of us walk into them, where we're like, I see you. There's two of us. That still happens. And we have to be advocates for all. It's just the nature of being born black and woman. We have to be the advocates for all.
I love that. So Mikki, decades upon decades of representation and voice and sisterhood, and I've even shared with Mikki how I was a teenager looking at her face in the magazine and smiling because I saw myself and I felt so connected with her smile. And then when I met her, she was a real sister. I was like, oh, it's not just a magazine picture, this is a lifestyle. How do we curate that lifestyle, Mikki, and pour that into our girls so that they understand that we are sisters, keepers, and celebrants?
You know, I think, first of all, we do have to teach our young women to curate those who are in their circle. I'm traveling this country digitally and, you know, certainly before COVID on a plane every week. And I see some misnomers, some myths going on out there. And social media has done that to us. It has, you know, pushed our young women into arenas where they feel that they need to fit in and they need to be ostentatious, and even in those they surround themselves with, to matter. And I think we first have to teach them that who they are matters, and that everyone in their lives has to earn their residence. Because we are having collateral damage from bad choices and bad relationships. And that's why you hear me talk so much about having a celebration circle. Those in your life who want to see you win, who will push, polish, and check you and remind you of who you are. Those for whom your confidences will be their confidences. That's so important. And it's not about the quantity of those in your life. And I think likes have thrown us off about what's important. It's about the quality of those in your life. And I think that certainly that is in my DNA just as much as beauty is, because I grew up, my mother was a hairstylist, makeup artist, and wardrobe stylist to the late American icon that was Sarah Vaughan. In their circle were women like Ella Fitzgerald, who was not your standard size beauty. Long before they called plus size, she was full-figured and as glorious as God would have her to be. She also suffered from diabetes. Certainly Lena Horne, you know, they walked into a restaurant one day that refused to serve them, and she sued them and won. I grew up in my mother's beauty salon, even when she wasn't on the road, and watched us affirm one another under the dryer, because even in beauty and society at large, we were the invisible women. So I understand what's important to being a sister friend, being a great girlfriend, being a beauty advocate. I can't say it enough, reminding us that our authentic selves that's the shoes that we need to stand in and not try to fill or fulfill anything else. So I think that if your question, if I'm understanding it correctly in terms of young women, I think one of the best examples that we can give them is to be authentic, to show them what it's like to know the truth of who you are, to live boldly and fearlessly and unapologetically, and to not let someone renegotiate what's important to you, that it doesn't have a price tag on it, that a title won't change it, being important or popular won't change it. Yeah.
That popularity contest has become a real thing, right?
Yeah,
right?
it
And we
has.
see it playing out in terms of how women start to compete with one another for the popular spot or wanting to be the best or biggest influencer. And oftentimes people get trampled over in that process. And what I love and respect about the two of you is that I've seen you share great girlfriendship. I've seen you trade love with one another and exchange joy and peace. And a lot of times people will say, well, you get to a certain level, there's fewer and fewer, people available to create sisterhood. I've seen a little bit of a difference in terms of how some people roll. And I would love for you specifically, Lisa, as you have taken on the charge of being a voice, face, a fixture in our closets, in our hair, making sure we good. What is it that you tell yourself that makes you continue to serve and support where we're going as women?
Wow. The funny thing is, it's interesting to me when I post on social media and people write back to me about the confidence that I gave them in what I said, how I'm an example for them to follow, because I am a very insecure person, and it's something that I always work on. I'm a work in progress. And when I first started the part of this journey as Carol's daughter that required me to be public facing, it was very difficult to take pictures, to do television interviews, to speak publicly. I was ashamed about being too large. I didn't know if I was dressed the right way. I didn't know how to do my makeup. I didn't have the bag, all of that stuff that at that time was sort of your entry, because in the beauty world, outside of people like Mikki Taylor, it's very judgmental. And it's very, oh, did you see that purse? Oh, did you see those shoes? And I carried that with me a lot. And I had to get past that. And the way that I did it was a very silly thing, but it worked for me. In one of I think it was the second Men in Black film, Will Smith's character and his sidekick, they're getting into a car. And Will looks at the guy, and he's like, no. You, old and busted, me, the new hotness. I'm driving this car. And I used to look in the mirror and say to myself, you are the new hotness. That's right, you are the new hotness. And I would say it so many times that I started to laugh at myself. And when I would get nervous, I would hear inside my head, you are the new hotness. You are the new hotness. So I try to be that for other people and try to be as transparent as I can be and as vulnerable as I can be to say, I am still a work in progress. I get it. I know how hard it is. Wanting to be presentable, wanting to say the right thing, wanting to not be judged. So I don't want other people, especially younger people, to waste the time that I wasted worrying, and to waste the time that I wasted trying on this skirt, this dress, these shoes. Just get dressed and walk out the door. Just get dressed and walk out the door. It's not that deep. But it took a long time to get to that place. So that's what I try to do. I try to save people time so they don't have to be 50-something to wake up and go, oh, I really don't need to give two you-know-whats about this. And that, to me, that's freedom. That's freedom. So you could, if you want to try the new hotness, you could try it. I didn't have Megan Thee Stallion back then, so, I had to work with what I had.
I'm just going to celebrate you really quickly for that vulnerability. I know for a fact somebody just got saved from time wasted worrying about the voices in their head and replacing them with ones that are more affirming. And I don't know who it is, but I know someone in here just got released because Lisa just let you know. If she can sit here and tell you with all the years and experience and contribution that she still works through insecurity and got in that mirror and showed up for yourself in the mirror so you could go out and believe who you were, that for me is freedom, and I respect that. I want to thank you for that. Thank you for opening that up. Yes.
Yes, and I just want to give a really quick shout out to Mikki, because the first time that Mikki and I had lunch together, I was a nervous wreck because I'm having lunch with Mikki Taylor. And we sat down, the restaurant was American something, and the first thing Mikki said was, they make the best shrimp and grits in the world, and I can't wait to have myself a nice big bowl, and I knew everything was going to be okay.
That's right. I remember that. And we got down. Ooh, the lipstick was gone. It was so good.
That's what's so powerful. So we're sitting in this conversation today because I had the chance to go on a trip to LA for Restoration Weekend. And I knew of Lisa, and I knew her moderately, right? Like, oh my God, that's Lisa. Does she remember me from that time? You know how you be like, did that person remember me? And I knew Mikki, and we're birthday twins, so I knew Mikki, right? We go on this trip, and we're in the back. I am in the back seat of a car with Lisa, and I'm somewhat panicking, nervous, like, what are we gonna talk about? This Lisa. Lisa starts DJing in the car. All guards are down, music bonded us, but what I love and respected, Lisa and Mikki both, is that you created safe space for me to feel welcome in your realm, and it reminded me that I owe that to other women, to create safe spaces where people can disarm and meet each other as women. And we took pictures with a giraffe, and the giraffe tried to kiss Lisa on the cheek.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We got all these memories that we captured in these moments because you were willing to share safe space with a new girlfriend and sisterhood, and remove the barriers that come with insecurity. So I'm the new hotness, and I thank you for... See? Thank you, Lisa, for giving me that. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. For the woman in the room who's still not sure whether or not she belongs in rooms, she's heard everything you said, but she's like, but you don't know my story. You don't know where I'm from. You don't know how poor I am. You don't know what I went through. You don't know. What do you say to her?
Oh, no way. No, what I really believe is anything that doesn't hold up against the truth has to be dismissed. Mm-hmm. Now, you just affirm the truth of who you are. You just closed your eyes and beheld yourself. Don't run away from that truth. Don't run away from that truth. The world would love for you to do anything but to exercise the power that lives in you. And right now, you ought to be just filled, and we're just starting today. You ought to be so full that when you leave here, you're going to do nothing but use that power. In fact, you're going to give yourself some reparation. How about that? For all the times you didn't, for all the times you showed up in light of what somebody else thought you should be. For all the times that you allowed somebody to turn your wattage down because it was too big for them to feel comfortable in. Yeah, you're gonna take the shade off of who you are. And if it blinds them, so what? Even if it makes you stand back and say, oh girl, wait a minute, you something else. Yeah, that's good. Because you know why? That's how the Creator looks at you, with a swelled heart because of what He did. And I have learned to tell those who can't handle it, just say thank you on His behalf. If you can't say thank you for yourself, just say thank you on His behalf, because His shoulders are big enough to own what He created in you. How about that? So no doubt, doubt will take you prisoner if you let it. The opinions of others will hold you captive. And while I'm on this page, please learn the difference between feedback, constructive feedback, and criticism. Take what you can use and dismiss the rest. Because as long as you got a template for folks to throw dirt on, criticism, stuff that's going to hold you back, they'll keep doing it. Put that away, because you can't use it. So whoever that is, and I will tell you, I don't like untested advice. So I'm only telling you what I know, because I've walked through that. I grew up shy. My mother used to tell me, you're not a twin. This is it. You got to get with this. You got to be all that, because you don't have a big sister. You don't have a little sister right now. It's just you. And you got to get with it. And so I was terribly shy. And it took a lot for me to get rid of that. In fact, at one point I used to play games with it. I said, okay, well, you stay here, and when I come back, I'll tell you how it was, because you're going to get in the way. You start stuttering, you don't want to speak up, you let other folks take your ideas, and then you come home and you cry about it, and you don't know how that happened. I'll tell you how that happened. You created space for it. You didn't go out and be who God said you were. And after a while, I stopped leaving her at home because I divorced her. Yeah, I divorced her. She's out. I'm in. So that's what you got to do. You got to own your truth. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I'm like,
y'all quiet.
Amen. Matter of fact, and the church said, amen. How about you, Lisa? What do you say to her?
I'm supposed to say something after that? My
I'm gonna
goodness.
tell her to turn on some Prince and play Diamonds and Pearls, and because she's a Prince fan. If you didn't know,
Yes,
I need to know that.
I am, yes. Just know that as you do these things, it's like any other exercise. When you do it for the first time, it hurts, it's really difficult. You might be in a little pain after, you're gonna feel awkward, it's not gonna come natural, it's not gonna flow. But then the more that you do it, the more that it will. So think of something that you started that you're now really good at. And know that the only way that you got there was by repetition. You had to keep doing it over and over again. Speaking of Prince, there's a really great song called Joy in Repetition. You should listen to that. Because the more that you repeat the action, the easier it becomes. Remember, I said that I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was saying, you're the new hotness. And I did that so many times that when I was alone in an environment like this and I started to get afraid, the voice inside my head said, you're the new hotness. Because that muscle had been exercised so many times, it knew when I needed it to kick in. Yeah. So go with it and keep doing it and keep repeating it, whatever it is that's going to work for you, and know that it will be uncomfortable, but then it will become very automatic. One of the places where I see that the most is when I would have to go on camera to do HSN. There were times when you'd be awake for 36 hours going on air, and you literally are standing there in the studio like, I can't keep my eyes open. And then the light comes on and you're like, hi, this is Lisa Price from Carol's Daughter, and I'm here to offer you a great deal today. And it just turns on, and when the light goes off on the camera, you go back to being, okay, can I go take a nap now? But that just comes with that practice. And you have to find that person. I think Beyonce calls her Sasha Fierce, right? Probably years ago she said that, right? She probably doesn't need that now, because now once you do it enough, you begin to learn that it's you. When you first do it, it does feel like an alter ego. It feels like another person. And sometimes that person can be a bit aggressive and want to take over when she's really not needed. And when you get to that phase of it and you begin to check her, that's when you realize it's always you. It's always been you. And then you really have control over it. And it comes forward when you need it, and you put it away when you don't need it.
Okay, I love all of that.
Yeah. It's as simple as showing up for yourself. And the more you show up for yourself, the more you exercise that power. The truth of the matter is, the more you can show up for your sister. Because you can't give out of your lack. So it's almost like Lisa was saying, you got to exercise that. It's like a muscle. And the more weight you lift, the more you go fearlessly and do something where you might secretly be afraid, the stronger you will get. And the more it will become your default setting. This is who I am.
Amen. Amen, church. Mikki, Lisa, on behalf of myself and every great girlfriend around the world, thank you. Thank you so much for committing to us and being devoted to yourselves so you can show up for us. Thank you for seeing us and honoring us and loving us continually. And my prayer is that we can always do for you what you have done for us, which is continue to share and amplify your voice and your stories, because it's part of our heritage. So, I'm just going to be the one with the mic, making sure that it always goes forward, that my daughter can eat off of it, right? Amen. Well, I want to thank you both for kicking off our morning. Thank you so much. I'm about to cry again, and y'all, I'm so teary today. Let's stand up and give it up for Mikki and Lisa. All right, great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends, follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends, and on Twitter at @the_greatGFS. I'm Sybil, and I'm out. Peace.